How's it going? I hope you're doing just as good as I'm doing today, because another great day. In fact, I'm actually surprisingly calm, but I've made insane progress today, like stuff I did not think I would be hitting so soon. Just throwing it right fucking out there. Sorry to spoil you, but I'm excited. I got 3 plates on clean and jerk for the first time, which, if anybody does Olympic lifting, even if you don't, that shit's fucking insane. Like, that's like the dream weight that I never imagined myself getting near when I started the sport. Even a year or two after starting, I didn't really think that I would get that far, especially so soon, because it really doesn't feel like it's been that long. I've only been doing this for about 3-ish years now. It was a press out. I don't want to overhype myself. My right elbow did not lock out right away, which is unfortunate, but whatever. I held it steady, got that shit up, felt really good. It was one of my best reps of the day. I was having some trouble with my left shoulder. It just was feeling kind of icky, so it was kind of hard to really commit to the dip and drive and then locking out and splitting my feet as hard as I could. But we made it, and again, the progress, it makes me prouder beyond belief. Another thing, the last time I tried to attempt any sort of max on a squat, if you've been watching for a minute, I tried 455, and this was back when I used knee sleeves. I want to say this was like, I think this was damn, I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you. I think it's been about 2-ish months, maybe. I don't know, but I failed the shit out of it. And it scraped the fuck out of my neck, and it's really embarrassed. Couldn't hold my core worth shit. And it was just really unfortunate. It was more of an ego lift than anything. Should have known better, but I was trying something new. And it was a good learning experience. And now, I hit it for 2 without knee sleeves. It actually went really smoothly. It surprised me heavily how great it looked. Physically, I gotta give it at least 9.7. Honestly, it was near. No, 9.5, just because my shoulder was tweaking a little bit on clean and jerks. If that wasn't tweaking at all, it would have been like a near perfect day, strength-wise. My body was extremely tuned in. My core felt fucking awesome. And mentally, honestly, I'll give it like an 8.25. That's a great score, don't get me wrong. But this is something that happens very rarely, because you set goals so high and you work so hard to get to that point. And this is the weights, especially that I lifted today, kind of reminds me of you hit that super high peak right when you're doing the weights, and then when you put it down, you're like, all I can think about is moving on to the next plate. But moreover than that, the 3 plates, especially on clean and jerk, that was the original, when I started, dream goal. Everybody's got goals that they think are realistic versus goals that they think are just wild fucking fantasies. I obviously, getting closer to 3 plates, my dream goal has moved on to 4 plates for clean and jerk, however long that takes. But it's a little bit morbid. I'm not gonna lie. Not that I'm upset in any way. I'm very ecstatic. But it's both extremely hype and also very humbling about the progression that I've managed to put in. It's kind of in the moment you hit that maximum peak, oh fuck yeah, that was the shit I worked so fucking hard for. And then you put the weight down and you're thinking about what's next. And I'm just sitting here man, I love the fact that I have the ability to continue on to the next stage. And I know I have so much more room left to grow. But today we're dream goals. And it's one of those things where I'm kind of feels like we're going all the way back to the bottom now and rebuilding it back up. Of course, that's not like what exactly I mean directly. You know, I know that the effort is there. I have never been prouder, and I have no regrets. I lifted with all my fucking heart, and I did great. And I'm proud of that fact. Shit, I get to see where bench is at tomorrow. That'll be another crazy feat if it feels as good as it's been feeling. Like, oh my God, imagine if I put 355 on the bar. Something crazy. Like, I don't know. But regardless of all that, it's that little bit of like, you get so close to a dream goal that like you have no wavering in like what you want to work toward. You're like, I gotta do this, I gotta make it, I just gotta keep pushing, I'm so close. And then you hit it and you're like, what's the next step? Because of course I'm gonna keep going for heavier weight and putting on the next plates, but it also has to do with what do I want the next programming to be? What do I want the next things I work on with my technique to be? How hard do I want to be going after this cycle? How do I want to change it? I've been thinking of implementing a slight bit more of accessories, because I don't do any power cleans or power snatches, and I think it would be beneficial because I've been getting slowly more and more fatigued as I go through this cycle, and I think it's getting to the point where I won't be able to keep up this kind of program long, which is kind of what I expected. You know, I'm feeling the weights out one day at a time, so it makes sense that I would plateau a little bit faster than a slow progression type program that I used to do. But I want to make sure I keep my body's health the main priority. Like, I am not as happy how my shoulder was feeling this time, and the last time I clean and jerked as well. I've mentioned in the past, but I had a hand injury about 8-10 months ago, I think, something like that, and I had an abnormal bone growth, so the mobility on my left side will never be as good as my right, just by like that half an inch. You know, very, very small difference, barely changes anything. All the warm-up weights feel great. The moment I get close to anything a little bit heavy, my left side starts leaning down a bit, and it puts a lot more pressure on my left shoulder, and it's been tough. Because it's one of those things where, like, you see so many lifters in the Olympics and shit where their form seems really weird and they got, like, a huge imbalance somewhere. Like, one elbow is way higher than the other. Some shit like that. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, they're ego lifting. Like, they just chose to lift inefficiently and just run it as long as they could. And it's like, most of the time, I think it actually has more to do with they probably worked so hard that their body couldn't keep up to some point, and it led to an injury that led to a permanent immobility issue, you know. And I am very, very proud of the fact that I've worked through that kind of an injury, but I gotta really make sure I keep my head on straight, you know, and really think about what the best next move is. Because even though I'm hitting all these new weights right now, and I've grown so much stronger so quickly because of the new style of training I've implemented, I got to remember that this is not going to last, you know. Nothing's forever, especially when your body grows every day or gets weaker every day. It's whatever type of body you got going on, you're changing every day. So you have to adapt one step at a time. And I want to make sure that I don't fall back into the full ego lifting shit that I used to do. Because I tore my low back on both sides and almost blew out both knees when I was 18. And it was just way too much, and it put a big strain on my personal life. So while I am, man, I feel bad. This is kind of like a morbid, sad video idea, even though like the weights are so hype. Again, it was just one of the, like, I feel like I was hitting the weights so calmly. Like it almost felt like, in a good way, that all the effort I had put in, I was just like, I deserve this, you know. This is the weight that I deserve to be pushing, and I just gotta stay consistent, stay passionate. And don't get me wrong, even though I may seem or sound a little down, I've never been more passionate in my whole life. You know, I love this shit, and I have so many ideas swirling around about what I want to do next, and what I should change, and what I should keep going, and what I should do harder, you know. there's so many factors that come into this shit. But at the same time, I want to be honest with myself, and it can get a little overwhelming when you fall into that void of infinite possibilities. You know, you just have no idea where it's going to go. I mean, shit, I still haven't even hit my peak clean and jerk day. I'm probably going to go for 325 now, based off of how 315 felt, because I'll have a rest day, and then I'll hit as heavy as a clean and jerk as I got, comfortably. So, you know, I take it with, I'm just going to say it a little early, it feels, but just take it with a grain of salt. You know, this is not me trying to dissuade people from feeling good and hype about the big weights that they're going to hit or what they're dreaming of hitting in the future. But just make sure you got a positive attitude about it. You know, I feel like I'm kind of like how I said before, how I'm kind of starting at the bottom again when it comes to like figuring out what the next goals are, the next dream weights, and like how realistic they really are. Because now that 405 was the dream goal once I started getting closer to 3 plates, but now I've hit it. So now how realistic is 4 plates in my brain, you know? And every day it'll get more and more real, and then the next dream weight will just go higher and higher, and it's a constant fight to see how much I have in me, and that's why I love it so goddamn much. But you know, I want to really emphasize that I truly love this. You know, it's a wonderful thing to have the opportunity to push myself so hard, meet so many great people, and get to really understand myself. You know, because that's such a huge part of it, is like, of course you can look at it simple enough. It's just like you're just lifting weights, you know, you're just hitting heavy shit, and it's so much more than that. I've grown as a person through this sport. This is one of the rare things in my life so far, even though I haven't been alive that long, where I've truly been able to put in the most passion I could without feeling any restraints or limitations from anything in our social world. And it's allowed me to better contribute to the positivity and the progression and productivity that I want to have in my life, and really understanding what my own happiness means. So while the weights are scary as fuck at times, and it's super hype when I hit them, and it can be a little morbid when I got to figure out the next first step, because those first steps are always the most goddamn terrifying, I'm just going to put in my best effort. You know, it's just one foot forward in front of the other, and you'll make progress as long as you keep that consistency and passion up. So I just got to keep surrounding myself with these positive influences and just enjoying myself along the way. So I don't know if that is any bit relatable. I feel like I just kind of rant a little bit, but I appreciate whoever wanted to listen regardless. You know, I like it when anybody's able to kind of like hear that one thing and be like, oh, I love hearing that, you know, or like that's like the one thing that they needed to hear to do their next first step. So let me know how your lifts have been. Let me know how life's been. I'm just going to relax, you know, kind of feels like I got a huge weight off my shoulder because I feel like I've completed one of the first major, like mainline quest, you know, if you're comparing it to a video game. And now I gotta rebuild it up and put all that work back in again to see where it'll go next. And we're just gonna keep putting passion on top of passion until I fucking croak out. So you'll see me back tomorrow. I got bench and snatch, so we'll see how that goes. But I appreciate whoever's hearing me out, you know. So I'll see you. Bye.